I've been into personal development since I can remember. I had this thirst to know how to live a happy life. So of course I had to try everything. Every course on personal development, every practitioner, healer, psychic, counsellors. Then I started counselling my friends by default. But I soon realised that you can't tell people what they need because they're on their own journey, like I am. So I'm here to share my journey and introduce all the wonderful people I've met on the way, plus meet some new ones. You'll meet my family, my friends, and even get to see what celebrities do to stay on track. While I live a life of personal development just by being Scarlett. I talk a lot about meditation in my PD talks. That's personal development, by the way. It seems a simple thing to do, but it's the most difficult for most people. What can be so hard about sitting still and breathing? Everything. Yep, there it is. Pick up that dry cleaning. Okay, back to breathing. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Did you know meditation reduces heart disease and lowers blood pressure? Oh, back again. Oh, gosh, those thoughts just keep on keeping on. The trick they say is to get between the thoughts. Make the space bigger. I'll give it a go. Damn, that's what happens. You get it and then you lose it. You just can't try and hold on to things. But I tell myself it's about the intention and nurturing myself. I'm showing the universe I value me. The reason why I do personal development is because I want to live a happy life. So what's been getting in the way of me finding my happy place this week? Actually, I have been feeling a bit bullied lately, which has been making me lose a little bit of self-confidence. So I think I'll work on bullying. Yep, let's go. Did you know that the most common reason for bullying is a person's appearance or body size? In fact, I do remember being bullied at school for having curly hair. So I think I'll ask my mum if she remembers what happened and find out where it all started. My mum is one of my best friends. It wasn't always like that. We used to fight like cat and dog, but probably because we were so alike. She lived with my dad forever, a general surgeon who eventually died from the thing he used to treat his patients for, cancer. Yep, he smoked a lot. How ironic. And she's doing so well on her own. In fact, better in one way. I know she'd hate to hear that, but it's true. I wanted to ask her about being bullied at school. In fact, I've never really asked her about it. Did you know 1 out of every 4 kids will be bullied sometime throughout their adolescence? I remember totally being teased and bullied at school. So obviously I didn't tell you about it.
No.
But what was the response? Because I know I was very needy around other children or wanting to be friends.
I didn't notice it at home because the phone went and you always had friends in your room, and you had that little girl that used to go every afternoon, Andra. But your sister was very badly bullied because she was a quiet, recessive personality and very clever and prefect type. So of course there's always people who hate those girls.
I think at the time I held a lot in, like I didn't feel...
You used to write letters to yourself, and that was the way to get rid of it all. I remember that because I used to sneak in and have a look, and used to tell me then sometimes, but it was usually you had an upset just with one person, but then you'd get over it and there'd always be Melissa and your close friends.
So I used to write, because I remember writing to a horse, Anita, about a lot of problems, or just writing to her about
I always wrote to my horse too. Did you? Larry, his name was.
Who was it?
Larry.
Larry, that's so
I rode
cute.
him in the show. Yes, it was lovely.
Did you know that relationships are just about you? Yes, they are a mirror. And what triggers you in the other person is what you don't like about yourself. Ooh, scary thought, isn't it? By the way, this is my husband, Maurizio. We've been together 8 years, my second husband, and he's a counsellor and educational consultant. And he's a Virgo, I'm a Cancerian. Tidy meets organic. So what can he tell me about being bullied? Well, probably a lot, being a counsellor. But I think just having someone to talk to about your past is so important, and talking is very important, especially for women. Did you know that women say twice as many words per day than men do? My husband would certainly agree with those statistics. But, I was surprised because I went and saw my mum, and she doesn't even remember me being bullied at all. Why would that be so?
Maybe you weren't the sort of child that came home and told your parents, what happened to you at school. And it's possible that you were a bit more resilient,
I love that Maurizio can always give me a perspective that I hadn't thought about before. Sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. But I always love what my girlfriends have to say. They say a talk with your girlfriends is like a therapy session, and that is so true. You can say pretty much anything and they won't judge you. I wonder whether they've experienced being bullied too.
But I worked in an environment where men were very dominant and there was an underlying kind of power play going on, which I don't think ever really manifests into bullying as such, but it does change the way that you potentially relate in the workplace, or you modify your behaviour based on
that. But that is a form, I would think, of subtle bullying where people...
Yeah, it's a cultural thing, and I think it's a cultural thing that was that particular way that business ran.
But it doesn't also happen just with the males and the females. Like I've experienced actually being bullied by another female that I worked with, and there was no hierarchy between the two of us, but there was rivalry in the sense she felt threatened by me, obviously, and kind of that competitive. So she always tried to, bully me in the sense of intimidate me, and I've heard stories that she still plays out that role in other workplaces. So it's obviously her stuff. It's nothing to do with the other people.
I do know moving your body is the best tool to move your mind. I've heard Pilates is quite hard because you really have to use your tummy, and I just love using my tummy, not... Oh, there she is.
Hi, Scarlett.
But they do say the thing you hate doing the most is what will make the most change. So by the look of those machines, I'm definitely in the right place.
So tell me, what's Pilates and why is it different to other exercises?
Well, Pilates is a full body workout and we focus on strength, the whole body, but especially the core, flexibility, mobility, stability, and it's just a great full body workout that makes you feel fantastic.
Cool, because I do need some core muscle work. And I believe it started from someone who had injury, is that right?
Well, Joseph Pilates invented Pilates for ballet dancers that had injuries.
Okay.
With Pilates, we have 5 basic principles. So it's head and neck in line with the spine, wide across the collarbone, shoulder blades, rib cage placement, pelvic placement, and we focus on breathing and pelvic floor. So it's very much about postural awareness and good form and technique.
Perfect. All right, well, I'll have a little go.
All right.
So do you want to show me what, let's start and see.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, shoulder
Oh
blades.
dear, I hope I don't look like I feel, which is like a teddy bear doing Pilates. I know the perfect remedy when feeling like a teddy bear. That's right, time for shopping. Yes, shopping is my Achilles heel. It definitely makes me feel better. I'll just do a session next week with Tikki on bullying myself about guilt and shopping. What the heck, everybody loves shopping, don't they? I love doing the walk away. If I'm not sure, I walk away, and then if I'm still thinking about it, I buy it. Shopping is a lot like eating. It can make you feel happier, but guilty afterwards. So let's find some healthy food that'll make me feel happier. Food is the only thing we actually have control over, and it fuels our body. So I love my sessions with Zoe to learn about cooking. I can't imagine Zoe would have ever been bullied though. She's way too pretty, but I think I'll still ask her.
Hi Scarlett, it's good to see you as always. Now, what issue are we going to talk about today?
Well, the issue this week's actually about bullying.
Oh, bullying. It's really one of those key subjects, and I know so many of us are talking about it right now.
It's everywhere at the moment. It's just, it's kind of a bit scary because I know I've just been talking about cyberbullying and how it's impacting everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Very important. So I was wondering, have you had any experience with it or?
No, actually, I was bullied as a kid, but interestingly enough, I was actually bullied by teachers, which definitely was something that grew me up quite quickly. It's something that actually you learn how to sort of handle, and you look at adults a little differently because you expect them to be the ones that are, these fantastic role models. But The good thing was I had great support at home, and my parents really did explain to me that it's not something I should be worried about. It's more something about what that person's doing. So look, I thought what I'd do is I'd make some, what I like to think is sort of nice comforting food, because definitely when you're feeling down, what most people do is they reach for those wrong types of foods. And the problem with that is that it's like a double whammy. We lose nutrients because we're not getting those great supportive B vitamins that we need when we are stressed. And often what it does, it sends us even further down. So nothing wrong with having these chips. So I'm going to be doing some sweet potato chips. Okay, so these can be for the kids at home. Sweet potato is brilliant. I've left the skin on. Skin is full of antioxidants. I'm going to put some rosemary in it. If you're doing it for the kids, don't have the garlic, or you can chop some herbs up really fine because it's probably a little bit texture. And for some reason, kids have this thing with green things. I don't know what it is. Drives me crazy. And put some really good quality sea salt, some pepper, and we're going to pop that in a 180-degree oven as well.
Yum, good food that tastes like naughty food. Love it. But I think it's time to do some work on the inside. Yep, I was bullied at school, so maybe I've got some unresolved issues. The way Tikki uses kinesiology with me is that she tests whether or not I've got old subconscious programs running, which actually stops you manifesting the things you want. So yes, best to get rid of those, I say.
So what are we doing this week?
This week I want to have a look at bullying and whether there was any issues around me, because I thought I was bullied a bit when I was young.
Yeah, so why don't we look at you being the bully? Because if you're attracting bullies in, then perhaps there's an aspect of you that's bullying yourself, or, you know, programmed to bully others.
Wow, I bully myself. I wonder how you do cope with bullies, whether it's someone else or yourself. I think I'll ask a bullying expert. I thought I knew a bit about bullying, but I did want to get it from the expert, and I'm glad I did, because she has a point of view I hadn't even thought of.
Bystanders. So basically people who see it happening or who are informed about it happening, doing something about it. So it can be as simple as supporting the person who's the victim, letting them know that they have a right to be treated better, that they have a right to fairness and equality, and that you don't think that what is happening to them is okay.
Did you know that adult bullies were either bullies or bullied as children? I love Mika. She's so alive and warm and such a joy to be around. Her long career in the US as a presenter often gets her talking about how blessed a life she's had, but she says it's not always been easy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does to keep herself healthy and happy, and whether she's been bullied too. But did you know celebrities that were bullied as a child include Tom Cruise, Sandra Bullock and Prince Harry?
So tell me, what do you do personal development wise? What keeps you on track?
The most important thing for me is I'm incredibly hyperactive and always have been hyperactive. So if I don't harness that, then it actually affects my energy and my happiness. So a really important thing for me is that I keep really active. The more exercise I do, the better and happier and sort of more able to be still that I am.
So does that keep you then mentally?
Yeah. It really does. It keeps me focused because I have so much sort of busy head energy and always thinking about a million things. And I actually don't sleep very well if I'm not exercising either, which, I mean, anyone would know that sends you absolutely bananas in no time. So I'm a person that absolutely loves to travel, and I think that I get a lot of therapy from my travels. So it's the only time I actually take a moment to kind of drop out from life and stop being busy. And I always encounter these incredible characters who've got great words of wisdom that you can just drop into and just sort of marinate in because you're in that place in that town. And, you know, learning to finally sort of slow down in France just changed my life, and yoga and meditation in Hawaii changed my life. But it's always little words of wisdom from people that you don't expect that can change your worldview, or at least can enhance the one that you have, and that's therapy for me.
I love that. You're getting it. Just it's so organic. I love that happens.
Yeah, I'm not really a planner, so
I can see that. It's very, very. But I like that, how you process things that way. Tell me, this episode we're talking about bullying, and have you had any experiences with bullying?
I have. I've actually had a broad range of experience, but I'll talk about one that actually had a massive impact on me. About sort of 10, 11 years ago, when I was living in Sydney, I was doing a lot of media, and all of a sudden I was getting this really negative gossip press in the gossip sort of columns, and there were things that were just so mean and so sort of degrading and insulting and hurtful, and it wasn't just one gossip columnist, and it was several of them, and I've never met any of these girls, and it really was what I would call tantamount to mean girl bullying. I finally confronted one of these girls and I said, I just have to know, why are you writing this? And she said, well, we just had to pick someone to hate. And it was just this, I was like, oh my gosh. And so I hadn't even done anything to sort of raise their ire. They just went, you're an easy target and you look like you're enjoying your life too much, so we're going to come after you.
What did you do in the process? What helped you get through doing that? I mean, it was great confronting her. Fantastic.
I can't say that it necessarily even changed the way that I was treated for a while, but the only thing I could do was try to be graceful, because what I sort of decided at the time as far as coping with it on a human level was that what they were saying said a lot more about them than it did about me.
I've developed a daily wisdom app called Love, Dream, Believe, and it's to use when you're feeling like you need some guidance or advice on a particular subject. So this week, let's pick one from You've Got Mail and see what turns up when I ask for a weekly advice about being bullied. Oh, perfect. Stop bullying yourself. You are being so hard on yourself. Stop now and find the loving voice that you share when others are in need. It's time to nurture you. My passion is personal development, if you haven't gathered that so far, and I love inspiring people. We all have the potential to live the life we dream of, and my goal is to help others find the part they've forgotten and see that it's possible. Challenges are here to move us forward on our path. If it's not challenging you, it's not changing you. My talks, workshops, books, publications, everything is about helping people find a way to live a happy life. Life is so synchronistic. Today I've been asked to talk about cyberbullying on the morning show. Thank goodness I've done my homework.
Yeah, so what triggers so much hostility on social media specifically? With more on this, we're joined now by personal development expert Scarlett Vespa. Good morning to you, Scarlett.
Good morning.
Now, Lady Gaga's new site seems like a community of sort of like-minded fans, but could it be, just a tool to tear people down?
Well, look, I think it's another social media platform, so of course it lends itself to the same thing that we're here talking about today. But I think you're right. I think it's a like-minded community. So I think there'll be a lot of values and beliefs that are similar, which is great. But I think actually it could be more explosive. Every time we get triggered, it is an emotional response.
Yeah.
So it is something from our past experience, and that fuels it.
This isn't going away. It's becoming more and more prolific, and more how sort of teenagers, run their lives all on social media. So how do we deal with that?
Remember, you're always in control. That's a huge one. How you respond. If you're going to defend and justify yourself, you're actually engaging with them. So just leave it. Ignore.
Okay. Thank you, Scarlett.
My pleasure.
A lot of info in there. Thanks.
So finally, I'm back to my happy place. And I felt bad all because I was bullying myself. It was surprising that my mum had a different take on my childhood bullying, and she used to sneak in and read my letters. That was certainly news to me. Maurizio reminded me again how important it is to talk about my problems, and my lunch with the girls gave me a great insight about how there can be subtle bullying between men and women. And I can't forget my Pilates session. Keep you posted on that one. I think I'm rock climbing next week. Gosh, yes, good to face your fears. And a yummy snack to cook from the beautiful Zoe. So my first insight is healthy snacks keep me happier. My kinesiologist Tikki revealed through her muscle testing that I was bullying myself. So of course I would attract being bullied. Never would have thought of that one. So insight number 2 is don't bully yourself. Plus, bullying expert Kim made me realise how I can help people who are being bullied by standing up for them. With insight number 3, be a conscious bystander. And I love Mika's advice on personal development, which is about learning from my experiences and the people around me. So insight number 4, be open and learn from everyday life. The research I did for the appearance on the morning show about cyberbullying made me realise a few more things about bullying, one of which is not to give my power away. So insight number 5, don't engage with bullies. Wow, what a great week. I feel happy again, and I love that I learned all these things about bullying. But I think the biggest insight is that no one can bully me, including myself. It's always my choice. You can't do enough personal development, I say. So until next week,